S Vans 5x5. Thank you so much. 2 5 Strikercade. Thank you so much. This morning's show is brought to you by caffeine, nicotine, the creator of the universe, not necessarily in that order. And that's it. It's YouTube. It's YouTube. What do I mean? It's YouTube. I mean, I know definitively it's YouTube. I've been spending the last half an hour fighting my way into 2 different channels. I've had so much so that I've had the fiber at my house and at the office here checked. We've replaced equipment. I'm doing all the things. It's YouTube. It's YouTube. Probably class action lawsuit a decade from now that nobody will know about because nobody will use YouTube anymore because the robots will have inserted some kind of wires into their brains so that they could hook up to the Neuralink so that we'd have the AI quantum computing so that our brain would go ahead and make DMT, and so we'd all be hallucinating as part of the Great Deception, worshiping a frog on a mountain somewhere with a little wizard hat, and who knows. And so I'll get $4 billion in my YouTube class action lawsuit, which will be the equivalent of about 42 cents, thanks to the Federal Reserve by the time we get there. So it won't even matter. It won't even matter. Barry should be on Rumble. Shut up. No, I should not. It's terrible. Did Rumble for 2 years. It's garbage. This is why we have a Patreon channel. And this is not a sales pitch. I don't care for everybody who's like, it's just trying to make money. Like, Patreon's $10 a month. If I wanted to make money, guys, I'm in Oklahoma. There's oil and gas here. I'm actually really good at business. I don't know if you know that or not. I'm not great at it, but I'm really good at it. Like, really good at it. So it's not a money-making scheme on Patreon. It's part of our PACE plan, primary, alternate, contingency, emergency. And Patreon has the ability for us to host videos there and live streams there without even touching YouTube. So it's part of why we have a Patreon channel is primary, alternate, contingency, emergency. We're on the alternate channel right now because the primary, very independent, we ain't even going there this morning. So that leaves blue collar president here, alternate, and contingency is Patreon. And then emergency, I don't know, how good are you with an HF radio? Anyway, here we are. Good morning, everybody. I really just wanted to talk to you guys and gerbils this morning. Not so much about, I want to just get on here and talk about Independence Day coming up. Most people refer to it as the 4th of July. That is the day on the calendar that it is, but it is the day of independence. Do not conflate the two. It's Independence Day. It occupies the 4th of July on the Julian and Gregorian calendars. But it's not, the volume is low. The Greek homestead, I'm gonna throw this shit across the room. Have you turned your headphones up? Or anything else? This is, Father, please, let me not be physically ugly on camera. And I don't mean my face, I mean picking this shit up and chucking it across the room. You know what, we're here. If you've been here for any length of time, you're aware. I don't want to hear anything, not a word about production quality. I don't want the feedback. I don't want, because there's nothing I can do about it. It took me 35 minutes just to get onto this damn platform this morning. Just to get in took me 35 minutes. There's not a bunch of buttons for me to beep, boop, beep on this end to make it work or not work, and I'll just turn the volume up. See, on my end, I'm looking at what I can see on my end, and gosh, the volume looks absolutely stellar. So if it doesn't work on your end, because in between me and you is YouTube, It took me 35 minutes to fight my way in to my own YouTube channels this morning. There's nothing I can do about it. And so when people bring stuff up like that, they think like you're not, they think they're helping, but you're not. You're not helping me. It's beyond my span of control. There's nothing I can do for it. All this is bullshit. We're 5 minutes in already, and this is not at all what I wanted to talk about this morning, yet here we are. Speaking of, Trump, 79, explodes an F-word meltdown as his ceasefire unravels. See, now I got to go back in and take the first 5 minutes of this live stream out and edit it, post, and blah, blah, garbage. Don't say a word about volume or audio quality in the chat. You do it again, you'll be banned. Simple as that. I don't care. Trump, 79, explodes an F-word meltdown as his ceasefire unravels. What's unraveling feel like? I wonder if the president has any idea. Certainly, I have no context at all for what unraveling could feel like. President Trump ripped into Iran and Israel, violating a ceasefire deal within hours of his triumphant announcement. Trump announced last night on socials that a peace deal had been brokered, which sounds like it was complete and utter garbage, because Iran said they hadn't even received the deal. Now, Iran's not Iran, whatever. It's not a reliable witness on these things. Propaganda state, 86-year-old Islamic radical. You know, there's been a lot of noticing that's been happening lately. The small hat people and what their Talmud says, you know, the age of consent is, which, for example, is 3 years old. Oh yeah, three. See, people say it's 3 years old. It's not actually 3 years old according to the Talmud. What it is that per the Talmud, if a man has sexual relations with a girl up to 3 years old, it is no violation. So it's actually 0 to 3 years. But we missed that the Quran says the actual age of consent is 8. So it's interesting, like we've had all this noticing that's been going on here lately with the small hat people, and it's like, wow, this, you know, the narrative that I've been sold might be a little bit different than actuality. Maybe I'm not so into Judeo-Christian values, because there's some stuff in there that's absolutely horrid and not honorific of the Most High. Lest we forget Brother Ishmael and his shenanigans, okay? And so Iran, Brother Ishmael and their shenanigans, run by a religious zealot of the Islamic persuasion, Persian, and that guy, Khomeini, 86 years old, possibly dead at this point. Although, remember we talked yesterday, he's gone completely off grid because the United States of America is targeting him. He's gone completely off grid because the United States of America is targeting him. He's gone completely off grid because the United States of America is targeting him. So, yeah, they said we didn't receive the deal. Well, yeah, it didn't. The carrier pigeon has not arrived to the cave that he's living in yet, apparently. But in the interim, Iran launched a single, a single missile into Beersheba, which is interesting. That's the well of the oath of the covenant with Abraham, if you go all the way back to the book of Genesis. Different people group, but let's not go there today. Beersheba, a missile landed, and 4 people were killed during the alleged ceasefire period allegedly brokered by Trump, to which Israel responded by launching wave after wave. They went hard. And so Trump over here said, quote, "You basically have 2 countries that have been fighting so hard and so long that they don't know what the F they're doing." Except he didn't say F. He said the whole word right there on camera. And everybody's in an uproar. They're like, this guy said a bad word. He's so unpresidential. I have said over and over again on this channel, we need to have the ability, this channel and others like it, when I'm allowed to participate in the internet, when the CIA and FBI decide that I'm allowed to say words on the internet, and they let me in.
It's just an acronym for unlawful carnage.
foreign, what?
I think FUCK stands for the use of carnal knowledge. For the use of carnal knowledge is what FUCK stands for back in Old English.
Yeah.
So it's just an acronym.
Sure. Sure it is. It's just an acronym. Like shit, stack high in transit. You aware of that? Have you heard that? Fripp, you never heard that?
Yeah.
That's where shit comes from.
Really?
Yes, because back when the ships were made of wood and the men were made of iron, back in the day, okay, when you would haul, or not you, you and I weren't even a twinkle in our father's eye at this point, okay, but back in the day, when they would haul manure, which was a huge commodity, right, because of the nitrogen and all the stuff, they'd haul manure in these wooden ships. Below decks, if you didn't stack the manure all the way to the top, that air gap there would get filled up with off-gassing, which is explosive, methane, and when the poor sailor would go below decks to check the cargo hold with his candle, the ship would explode. And so they would mark it stack high in transit for the manure, which got acronymized, turned into the acronym of SHIT, which then got pronounced shit, which then got associated with manure. So here we are. Yup. Yup. And for everybody who's like, you're not allowed to say words like that, I think it's in Malachi. Is it in Malachi? I think it's in Malachi. The Father is rebuking the priests of Israel, and he says, I will take the dung from your offerings and smear it on your faces. Because the priests at this point they lost their heart condition, and they were just going through the motions. This is like the cornerstone of Shaul of Tarsus, the Apostle Paul's commentary on the Torah, the law in Galatians, which here's a Galatians unlock for all you people out there. One is not justified by the law, the works of the law, going through the motions. No, the obedience comes from the heart condition. The heart condition is evidence of the faith that you have. And if you're like, yeah, but faith and works, we're not justified by works. No, you can't be justified by works. Works are proof of your obedience because of your faith. Works are de facto. That's why Messiah says, behold, I come swiftly to reward each man according to his work. You will know them by their fruits. That's why James says, you say you have faith, I will show you my faith by my works. Okay? And all of these witnesses in the word are in agreement. And so anyway, back in Malachi, these priests are just going through the motion. Like the Pharisees. These people's lips are near to me, but their hearts are far from me. Okay. And so the Father, Abba Yahuwah Elohim, creator of the heavens and the earth, says to these priests, I will take the dung of your sacrifices and smear it on your faces. We'll rub shit in your mouth. Because that's what you're trying to give me. That's what you're trying to give me. So I'm going to give it right back to you. That's what you have reduced this obedience to. Just going through the motions. So, anyway, here we are. Trump said a bad word. Lots of people are accusing him of being unpresidential. This is the same guy that said grab him by the what? Prior to his first campaign? I don't know if you noticed, half of his cabinet is just like chicks. That's what I'm saying. Well, my wife works here, so, and she's mean, and she'll throw a chancla at me. So I don't want to be. I have not been espying the Trump cabinet. But yes, they are pretty ladies. Here's my point. The guy, yes, he's the President of the United States of America. He's the most powerful man in the world. No, he's not. That's just a lie that they've told us our entire lives for us to accept that the President of the United States is the most powerful man in the world. He's not the most powerful man in the world because we know there's a cabal of individuals behind the scenes pulling the strings, which is why, in part, Israel's doing whatever they want to do regardless of what the President is saying, even though we are funding Israel. Now, there's how much of that funding stays in Israel and how much of it ends up coming back here through sweetheart deals and, military-industrial complex contracts and NGOs and etc. and tech bros, the same tech bros that what did they get sworn in at? The AI dudes, Palantir, lieutenant colonels.
Yeah.
Lieutenant colonels.
How the hell did that even happen?
Lieutenant colonels. Tech bros. The Palantir dudes, they got sworn in. United States Army lieutenant colonels, day one. The look on Philip's face right now is like both shock and horror combined. Yes.
Well, it's like that man woman that was the admiral of the health.
Oh yeah, the Shim that was admiral of the furries. Yep. You know who I'm talking about. Yep. Anyway, there's a Torah for that. A woman shall not put on a man's clothing, which arguably is not just about the clothing, it's about the station that the clothing represents. But, Bear, are you saying you don't support women in combat roles? That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. No. Read the story of Deborah and Barak. Deborah and Barak. That it's to the men of Israel's shame that the women had to lead and fight. Could they do it? Yes. Should they have to do it? No, they should not have to do it. Anyway, Trump said a bad word, and people are really upset about it. They're very, very, very upset. This is coming from the Daily Beast, who's in typical modern day air quote news fashion. The article is mostly ads and pop-ups. The president announced early Tuesday morning that a ceasefire was in effect between the two countries after they'd spent nearly 2 weeks trading air and missile fire, but soon after, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced Tuesday morning that Israel had accepted Trump's plan. The Israeli military had said it identified a missile launched from Iran towards its territory and vowed to launch new strikes in response. Now here's the thing. You do a quick AI search, Grok, for example, on X. Listen, I'm no fan of the robots, and you know this. But if you ask Grok, in numbers only, how many ceasefires has the nation state of Israel violated? Anybody know the answer to that?
Can't count that high.
Anybody know? The answer is 962 ceasefires have been violated by the nation state of Israel. I wonder if they're going to hold to this one. It's like I got this guy I know. He's kind of a jerk when he's drinking, but when he's sober, he's okay. You know, he gets into a lot of fights, picks a lot of fights. You know, kind of fun to hang out with, but every time we go out to the bar, he ends up getting in fights. And I don't know if I should hang out with him anymore. It's like, that's crazy. Like, how many times has he done that? Like, once, twice, 3 times? Like, no, he's done it 962 times. I think that's enough data for us to extrapolate to determine what his course of action is going to be the next time we find ourselves in this situation. So what would, like, say your buddy came to you and told you this, like, what would you say? You'd say, I don't think you need to be hanging out with that guy. He seems to start more trouble than he finishes. It seems to be a waste of your resources. You know, you're out there in the parking lot with him, defending him. You're getting beat up. You're catching charges. Because every time you hang out with this guy, you end up getting into fights in the parking lot because he can't hold his liquor. That's probably not somebody you should hang out with. But for whatever reason, we add in nation state and the label Israel. It's like, and then you get the fools like Ted Cruz. It's like, I was told that, you know, those that bless Israel will be blessed and those that cursed Israel will be cursed. Read the Bible. Paul makes this point in the New Testament, in the epistles, specifically in the book of Hebrews. Hey, the seed of Abraham will be blessed. Seed, not seeds. Paul even clarifies, not seeds of Abraham, the seed, capital S, seed of Abraham, alluding to Messiah. And then we get into the wordplay here. Go to Ephesians chapter 2. Those who are in Christ are Israel. Israel always was a very large people group. It was never a piece of land. And it was always a very large people group that the Father says, I have it right there up on our wall. Exodus 19 verse 6. and you will be unto me a nation of kings and priests, a holy nation. What does the priest do? Intercedes in between the Father and his people. So if Israel, believers in Christ, are priests, and you are at a minimum the priest of your home, you are to intercede between the Father and his people. Which means this is where the Great Commission comes from. Therefore go forth and make believers out of all nations. Right? Share the gospel, share the good news. Now, again, most Christians don't even realize that the gospel, the good news, predates the New Testament. Yeah, you can find it in Isaiah. What's that? It's the same proof text that Messiah tells John the Baptist, Yochanan, when John's imprisoned by Herod, go and tell, the lame walk, the blind receive sight, the sick are healed, and the dead are raised. Behold, the kingdom of Elohim, the kingdom of God is at hand. That's the gospel. It's not make a verbal confession of faith that you air quote believe, which you have no proof of because your works are still garbage, because you're doing the works of death and lawlessness, sin. No, you now live unto life, and you have life and life abundantly, Messiah. Abundantly not meaning Joel Osteen, if you pray hard enough, you're going to get a Lamborghini, but abundantly meaning the richness in the spirit rather than the weakness of the flesh. So, but these fools like Ted Cruz are out there saying, well, if I have to bless Israel if I want to receive blessings. Well, if I go over here in this office here in Refuge and I say, hey, I need a Cat Gen 7 tourniquet, and somebody hands me a chest seal, I'm like, that's not a tourniquet. They're like, well, we took the label machine and we printed out a label that says NAR Cat Gen 7 tourniquet, Cat Resources LLC, Greer, South Carolina, and we stuck that on a Halo chest seal. Here's your tourniquet. Nope, that's not a tourniquet. That's a chest seal. You just put a different label on it. See, if you reduce things back to first principles, all of a sudden they make sense. Okay? If you pull up to go get fuel, and you got a diesel truck, and you're used to grabbing the fuel pump that has the green handle on it instead of the red one, never use the blue. Ethanol is terrible. Terrible for your vehicle. Never use the blue. Oh, flex fuel. No, it's trash. It's 15% water. That's why your engine blows up when you use them. Okay? You're used to using the green pump, and you pull up, and they put the green handle on the gasoline instead of the diesel, and they switched the labels around. You put that gasoline into your diesel truck. Is it gonna work? Nope. Is it diesel because they changed the label, or is it something else? It's still something else, even though you changed the label. So in 1948, the label got changed, which is why you get morons like Ted Cruz saying, I've got to bless Israel. You do. You do need to bless Israel. And what does blessings mean? It doesn't mean provide military aid and billions in financial support and look the other way every time they commit war crimes. That's not a blessing. Biblically, because if we're going to, let's go to the doctrine of inerrancy. Let the word interpret the word. What are blessings? It means to speak life on, to prophesy in the name of Yahweh that these blessings will come down and rest upon the shoulders of this individual and this nation. Well, who are those people? It's the multitude. It's the 12 tribes, 13 actually if we count Levi, and the mixed multitude, the 82 different nations that went out from them in the Exodus from Mitzrayim, from Egypt to the Mount of Sinai to receive the Torah instructions to be in covenant with a living God who loves them. To be in covenant with a living God that loves them. And they were supposed to be the esteem of all nations. And this is what Paul's talking about. But the Torah to them was a curse because of Deuteronomy chapter 28. There's blessings and curses. There's blessings if you're obedient, and you're only obedient if your heart's in the right place because you love your husband. I, your maker, Yahweh Elohim, am your husband. Have you ever read the prophets? And then they were so bad at that that our Maker, Elohim, El Shaddai, Adonai, Father God, Hashem, the Lord, pick your label, became flesh to intercede directly for us so that we could re-enter into a covenant relationship. See, Israel was divorced because of their whoring and their idolatry. Well, it's against Torah for a man to remarry a wife that he has divorced. So why did Messiah have to die? Why did Yah become flesh? Well, myriad reasons, but one of the primary ones, one of the primary reasons he had to die, was because now he is dead and then made alive again. He can remarry Israel. I come first for the lost sheep of the house of Israel, not a nation state the size of New Jersey in the Middle East. Those who are in covenant with Elohim, which is why Peter is rebuked when he has his vision in Acts chapter 10. Father, I've never partaken of anything that's common or unclean. Oh, it's not people, or it's not food, it's people. How do we know it's people? Because the soldier, the Greek soldier Cornelius of the nations, not of the Yehudim, because Peter was a Jew, sends 3 men to Peter's house. Simon Peter says, is this the home of Simon Peter? Peter goes, I get it. The sheet came down 3 times. Here's 3 dudes. These people are not unclean. The Father has set them apart. How were they set apart? By their belief in Messiah. So it's when we bless Israel, it's not a nation state on a map halfway around the world. It's the Father's people that he's in covenant with, that he desperately loves. And people don't get it. But the nation state of Israel has violated 962 ceasefires. If your buddy got into 962 bar fights on Friday night, you're just trying to have a couple of Budweisers after work so you can go home, take your work boots off, settle down in your chair, maybe flip through the TV, read a book, and then fall asleep. And every time you go hang out with this guy, your nice quiet Friday evening turns into handcuffs, charges, and bail money. You'd probably go, I don't think I can hang out with this guy anymore. Okay? Indicator is my point. Iran denied firing a missile after the ceasefire began, but warned that it would give a decisive and regretful response if Israel resumed its attacks. Sure you would. Sure you would. They're probably at the point of just latching satchel charges to camels at this point. I wouldn't put it past them. There's actually a blessing on the dromedaries in Isaiah 59, I think it is. The dromedaries. Outside the White House Tuesday morning, a visibly angry Trump ranted against gutless and loser TV news networks, specifically mentioning CNN and MSDNC. Total losers, very big losers. Said he was unhappy with both Israel and Iran. He didn't say he was unhappy, he was dropping F-bombs. His frustration, however, was especially directed at Israel, which he said needed to, quote, calm down. Quote, I'm really unhappy if Israel is going out of this morning because of the one rocket that didn't land and was shot perhaps by mistake, he said, adding that as soon as he was done speaking to the reporters, he planned to, quote, see if he could stop it. Less than a half an hour later, he seemed to consider the situation back under control. Quote, Israel is not going to attack Iran, he wrote in a Truth Social post. All planes will turn around and head home while doing a friendly plane wave to Iran. Nobody will be hurt. The ceasefire is in effect. He had previously warned Israel in a separate post, all caps, Israel, do not drop those bombs. If you do, it is a major violation. Bring your pilots home now. Israel did not immediately respond to the president's comments. We need a new name for this nation state. We need a name by which they can be referred to without blaspheming the name of the Father's chosen people. Simple as that. We need to stop playing along with this Rothschild 1948 Balfour Declaration label change bullcrap and actually have a name by which to call them. Because calling them Israel over and over and over again, who changes labels, by the way? Who changes labels, by the way? What political group relabels things? What political group can't delineate the difference between a man and a woman? What political group says there is no age of consent? What's that, Mike?
Democrats?
Yep, libtards. What is their political ideology on the far left? Are they fascists? Are they libertarian? Communists. They're communists. Communists changed labels. You ever do any digging on the roots of communism and certain ethno-religious peoples? Now, again, don't get me wrong. None of this is anti-Semitic. I am for the sons of Shem. Elder brother Judah is my brother, but their bad leadership negatively impacts us. It leads to bad leadership for us as well. Your money and your blood, or your son's blood, and possibly even your daughter's blood at this point, should not be shed because of bad leadership anywhere. Anywhere. Let alone half a world away for a nation state the size of New Jersey. This is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Amy said the sons of Abraham. We are the sons of Abraham. Father Abraham has many sons. Many sons have Father Abraham. I am one of them, and so are you. So let's all praise the Lord. Right arm, left arm, Father Abraham. You guys don't know that song? Look it up. Major General Eyal Zamir, Chief of Staff for the Israel Defense Forces, also vowed in a post on X that Israel would strike with force. How many tit for tats are we going to get here? You kill 4 of our people, we're going to bomb your nation. I get it. I get it. I get it. But do you see the amount of pride that's in this? Hubris that's in this? Hubris comes before the fall. Have you ever read the book of Proverbs? They haven't. They don't. They don't read the Bible. They read the Talmud. They have scales on their eyes that have not fallen from them. This is why Messiah says, if you knew Moses, you would know me, but you don't know Moses, so you don't know me. Because you'd think like they're Jews. They keep the Torah. They read the Old Testament because, evangelical Christians have been told the Old Testament's for the Jews, the New Testament's for the Christians. That's also wrong. It's one beautiful love story from a loving creator to his people. It's in the same book. It's in the same binding. The first 2/3 is not for the Jews and the last third for the Christians. It's for everyone, and the Christians don't read it by and large. They read what the pastor tells them to read on Sunday morning. The Jews don't read the Old Testament at all unless the rabbi cherry picks verses out of there to support the argument that he's making while teaching the Talmud. It's all wrong. The whole thing's wrong. Do not add or take away from the word of this law. Any of you ever sign a contract? Ever buy a house, buy a car, do a business deal, anything like that? You ever sign a contract? Once the contract is written and executed, it doesn't change. Malachi 3 verse 6, I'm the Lord Yahweh Sabaoth, I change not. Once the contract's made, it doesn't change. And if you don't adhere to the contract, if either party to the contract does not adhere to it, there's a breach of contract for which there are consequences, the curse of the law. If you adhere to the contract, you receive the prize. Let all those who run the race receive the prize. New Testament, Shaul. Okay. You get whatever it is. You keep your end of the bargain contractually. You get your house, you get your car, you get your business deal, you get whatever it is. Ketubah covenant, you get your wife. Okay, like this is all basic stuff that thousands, hundreds of thousands of bad leaders over millennia have skewed to the point where now it's like you require a pointed hat and 40 years of indoctrination in some denominational group of leadership in order to be able to rightly divide and interpret what the Bible says. It's like negative. Just bring it back down to brass tacks. If I put a gasoline label on diesel fuel, it's still diesel fuel. If you go to buy a house and you don't keep your contract, you don't get a house. If you keep your contract, you get a house. So it's all very basic stuff. and nobody does it anymore. I'm ranting. Let's shift gears. Trump said the F word. Who cares? Not me. I don't care. I'm trying not to say it myself this morning. Independence Day is coming up. It falls on the calendar date of the 4th of July. Why are the likes so low? Dragon Keeper wants to know. Because there's only 542 people on, because we're on the alternate channel. And it took us 35 minutes in order to get in here because hashtag YouTube. Boo, I have to leave for a meeting. Replay crew, here I come. Estelle Kaufman, good for you. Texas Sheep Lady, too many people sign contracts without reading the document. Then they are shocked when the details are brought up. Tell me about it. Yeah, all they're seeing is, you know, the Ford Mustang at 17% APR that they signed, and then when the book of payments comes and they're like, $1,200 a month for this thing? It's like, yeah, it was right there. It was in the contract. Independence Day. I think you have the right to observe or not observe Independence Day depending on your convictions. Now let me hash that out first. There's a lot of people, so many people tell me. There's a lot of people that no longer feel independent. This country is not what it was 250 years ago, so what are we celebrating? And I understand that. There's a lot of people that observe and celebrate because they want this country to become more like it was 250 years ago. I understand that. There's a lot of people that don't observe and celebrate because it's a man-made holiday, not God's holy day. Morning, brother. I'm making it. How are you? I'm spicy. I don't even know why I'm spicy, but I'm spicy. Just am. It's not you though. It's YouTube. Yeah. I bought a bunch of little pieces parts to make a thing with. I'll tell you about later when the camera's not on, because otherwise China will make it. Yeah. I'll get with you in a bit. So there's some people that don't observe Independence Day because why? It's not instituted in the Bible. I don't want to do it. And then there's a bunch of people that just kind of go through the motions. There's going to be fireworks. The kids are going to enjoy it. Maybe there's a snow cone. Okay, whatever. So wherever you happen to be on any end of the spectrum, wherever you are plotted on the chart, the graph, it doesn't matter to me personally. If you're going to observe Independence Day, I have some thoughts on this. Number one, avoid large crowds. Well, how am I supposed to go to where the fireworks are and avoid large crowds? Why do I say avoid large crowds? Because we do not definitively know if there are as many bad guys here in the United States as they say there are. We know there is a lot of military-age males that came across the border during the Biden administration that I have said are a fail-safe, and I will continue to say that they are a fail-safe. We know that the FBI says, we don't know that it exists, but we know that the FBI says there are at least 4,000 terror cells in the United States of America. And terror is violence to advance political agendas. So we're all being terrorized by international leadership anyway, which is interesting. We should just designate every country on earth a terrorist organization. But I digress. We know the FBI says there's at least 4,000 terror cells here. Then we have former CIA analyst Sarah Adams. And it's interesting to me how many former CIA individuals now have very large social media followings and podcasts. Just throwing that out there. You think MK Ultra ended with bunny ears on the TV? No, it didn't. Why is AI taking over socials? For the same reason mainstream media using the same cameras and the same editing software and the same producers to produce content have Hollywood as their darling. because it's all to perpetuate narratives. It's all smoke and mirrors. Well, when mainstream media started to lose its popularity and, more importantly, its efficacy, people started moving to social media, which came from where? The CIA's LifeLog shut down the day before Zuckerberg started Facebook, and they're the same thing. And the idea that some random college kid created this platform is a story that people have been told in order to ease them back to sleep. Meta, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, etc. X, Elon Musk, was run by Jack, now run by Elon, who, defense contractor. Now you see the AI tech bros sworn in as lieutenant colonels for the Palantir $100 billion AI quantum computing database of all your data, all of it, for each individual person in the United States. Stated purposes of which, to this point, hasn't been expressed. While we all, Americans, all still to this day, sit under a domestic terrorist label by the FBI that has not been rescinded to this point. Thanks, James Comey. Okay? So social media now becomes the new hotspot where everybody's at. Well, on the media, the news, air quote news, they'll point the cameras at the things that they want to and amplify certain things in order to support a narrative. How do they do that on social media? They do it algorithmically. They promote the things that promote the narratives. They promote the pieces of content that promote the narratives. And they don't promote the pieces of content that don't promote the narratives. Organic reach on social media has been dead for about 5 years. Surprise, surprise, since the time of COVID, where people who spoke out against COVID had their voices, the volume of their voices decreased substantially. And people who didn't, who supported the COVID narrative, had their voices amplified. Okay, so we are still, still living that to this day, which is why platforms that aren't part of the big club, for example, like Rumble, will always be garbage, because the thesis of that platform is to be a counterpoint to the narratives that are being presented on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, X, etc. So they'll never receive the funding, they'll never get the playtime, they'll never get the technological investment from the tech bros, because the tech bros are part of the problem from the military-industrial complex. Proof of that, Palantir dudes sworn into the United States Army as lieutenant colonels. Okay? So, large groups are juicy targets. So we have multiple voices, FBI, CIA, former CIA, all saying there's bad actors here in the United States and they could pop off at any moment. Well, if I was a bad actor and I was looking for a place to pop off at, the symbology of attacking the great Satan, the United States of America, their words, not mine, on its day of independence is huge. It's a big deal. So if I go 2025 minus 1776, 249 years. Next year, on the 4th of July, will be 250 years. What's the age of an empire? Anyone? I'll listen. Sir John Glubb, Fate of Empires, 18-page white paper. Thank you, Pastor Joe Fox of Viking Preparedness, for the recommendation. 250 years on average. We're in year 249. Here we are. Okay. If I was a bad dude, say an Iranian sleeper cell with everything that's going on in the world right now, 4th of July is coming, I'd be blowing people up if I was a bad guy. Juicy target, easy to do. Then you have Sarah Adams saying that the new wave of Islamic terror in the United States of America is going to be cells of shooters, 6 to 8 shooters, all dressed as first responders, EMS, fire, and law enforcement. Why? Well, number one, it gives them cover for action. Number two, It creates hesitancy in people to respond because we're all conditioned. Don't shoot the cops. Cops are good guys. Don't shoot the firefighters. Firefighters are good guys. Don't shoot EMS. They're good guys. So it creates a massive amount of hesitancy, which buys time, which allows the cells of shooters to get more shooting done. And like, we at Refuge, we train law enforcement. We train civilians, but we also train law enforcement. T-Call and Cleat and Post and all this. The alert training, active shooter training, is for one shooter. It's a team of cops against one shooter. It's not against multiple threats, multiple asymmetric threats. So, all that to say, it's plausible to say that there could be attacks on large crowds, specifically on Independence Day, because that's a juicy target. This is not me prophesying. I'm not saying this will come to pass. But if I was a bad guy and I was here domestically and the little Satan was dropping bombs on my hometown and I happened to be embedded in the great Satan, yeah, I'd probably be doing something on Independence Day. Another opportunity, another possibility here is that the little Satan has decided that they want the great Satan involved in a larger regional war in the Middle East. And so then you have bad actors doing a false flag attack. What's false flag? It's where one nation behaves as another nation, okay? You have certain individuals from one country, Middle Eastern New Jersey, Mossad, Unit 8200, etc., blowing stuff up here, dressed as Iranians, or releasing Iranian propaganda. Point is, it's potentially dynamic out there on Independence Day, so avoid large crowds. If I have to be anywhere in public, I want all the things. Which things? Well, let's start with the ability to project force, and I would submit the training to project force. The ability to do Role 1 pre-hospital trauma medicine, field medicine, dirt medicine, and the training to do that. And commo. Need commo. By the way, backpack jammers, totally a thing. They've been used in Ukraine for the last 3 years in order to create a bubble around individuals and units so that drones can't target them. They've been used by the cartels here in certain areas of the United States in order to go in and do home robberies, burglaries, because they create a bubble where Wi-Fi and Bluetooth can't communicate, so the individuals in the home can't call out, can't text, the alarms don't go off. It's a backpack, it's like a day pack. It's got batteries and antennas and a little computer in it. It's a whole thing. So what kind of commo are we going to use? RF might be the way to go. UHF, VHF. HF is a little unwieldy for intra-squad communications, talking to your homies. But hopefully you see my point here. I want commo, I want med, and I want the ability to project force. Now when I say that, I'm sitting here at my office today, right now. And on me, I have commo, I have med, and I have force. On me right now, on a random Tuesday morning. So if I'm going into a situation where the threat profile is higher, where the number of people is higher, I want more force, I want more med, I want more commo. I want a plan on what this looks like, go, no go. If we have to leave, how do we leave? Where do we rally so that we can leave? Where do we link back up again? If it's all the way sideways, are we going home or are we going somewhere else? What does that look like? I want that plan and I want that briefed to all the people before we go. Simple as that. If you're celebrating at home, you need to know how to put fires out and you need to not explode. And I say this because July 5th is one of my least favorite days of the year, if not the least favorite. Because every day on July 5th, when I come in and I sit down right here and I open up my email, it's filled with aid rendered and life saved reports. And you'd think as the TACMed nerd that we are here at Refuge Medical, we'd get off on that. And I do not. because all of it was avoidable. All of it was avoidable. People blowing their hands off and their arms off and their feet off, burns, like, have a kit, know how to use the kit, and an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Just try, like, if the fireworks look cheap, they're probably cheap. Why does that matter? Because that 10-second fuse might be a 2-second fuse. Happens more often than you would think. Don't hold the explosives in your hand while you're lighting them. Use a lighter with a long stem, not a little short Bic lighter. Like, all these things, preventatives. And you're probably thinking, like, oh, Bear, it's fine, stop. My brain is a calculator, and I track a lot of statistics. It's a statistical probability that you will blow yourself up on the 4th of July, Independence Day. So please don't do that. Like, and have a plan if something like that happens. Wound care, burn care, like, you're gonna need it. Heat illness, this is another one. It's probably gonna be hot on Independence Day for most of y'all. So, like, what does heat stress look like? Make sure you're hydrating. Heat stroke and heat stress, all those things. Alcohol does not count for hydration. Alcohol is a diuretic. It causes you to pee. And when you pee, you're removing not just fluids, but also electrolytes from your system. So, you know, salt, potassium, magnesium, all those things. Motor vehicle accidents, going to and from the fireworks show or Aunt Matilda's house where you guys are going to, you know, do sparklers in the backyard, which is going to be fine because you got a hose and 5-gallon buckets full of water and a fire extinguisher in case you set the field on fire next door. I mean, how many volunteer fire departments are going to be out with their brush trucks putting out fires on the 4th of July? The answer is a bunch, okay? But motor vehicle accidents. Statistically, the most dangerous thing we do as Americans is drive. You're just stress inoculated to it. Every day, driving in here, every day, I see at least one person where I'm like, oof, that's unsafe. Every day. Every day. There was some young lady in a fast little car texting while driving, doing 66 miles per hour in a 45 mile per hour zone here, on the way here, changing lanes without signaling, bobbing and weaving in and out of traffic. I'd say she was somewhere between 18 and 23. Little silver 2-door. That chick's gonna get wrapped around the front axle of a Peterbilt or a power pole or a minivan, and the minivan is a level 1 mass casualty incident because it's 5 or more casualties, level 1. And that happens every day. It happens once every 3 minutes in the United States of America per day. Once every 3 minutes. But we're stress inoculated to it. We're like, it won't happen to me. Had a guy in here yesterday, really nice guy, Barry, beautiful wife Angie, wonderful people, stopped in the store. He was missing a leg from about the knee down. Motorcycle wreck. Motorcycle wreck. And not he crashed into something. He was maneuvering, foot slipped off the peg, got in between the wheel and the yoke, and ripped his leg off. He was a Boy Scout, so he was able to take his belt off and improvise a tourniquet and stem the flow of blood enough that he didn't pass out until first responders got there and put a real tourniquet on him. I'd have a real tourniquet in your pocket if you're going to ride your motorcycle. In your pocket. So that if you get separated from your bike, which most most motorcycle accidents you do, the rider's separated from the bike, at least you got a tourniquet in your pocket. If you ever come to class, motorcycle injuries is one of the things that we show. They're egregious. Okay, so this dude got his leg ripped off by his own motorcycle. MVAs. Hey, once every 3 minutes. 26 people a day in the United States. Is it 26? 26 people a day. 26 fatal motor vehicle accidents a day, not people, because some of them, there's multiple people killed. Once every 3 minutes, there's a catastrophic level motor vehicle accident here. So if you're going to drive to the fireworks, drive defensively, have your stuff. If you're tired, don't drive. Driving tired is the equivalent of driving intoxicated. If you're drinking on Independence Day, and you guys know me, I like a whiskey every now and then, don't drive. Blood alcohol should be 0.0% when you get behind the wheel. If it's anything other than that, shame on you, because you might be taking someone away from their family. Okay? Just don't do it. It ain't worth it. Last thing, sleeper cells. There's a lot of chatter, completely unconfirmed, about cyber attacks, upcoming cyber attacks, specifically on the United States power grid. Now, they roll this one out every few months just to, I think, get compliance from American people. Specifically, Iranian attacks on U.S. power infrastructure via cyber attack. The Iranians are touted as having a really good cyber team. They're also touted as being heathens who are stuck in the previous millennia that ride camels around in the desert. So pick one. Which one is it? But 4th of July, Independence Day, would be a great day to take, even if it was regional. Oh, they took Milwaukee offline. Okay, think of the chaos that's going to cause. All right. Possible? Yes, very possible. Plausible? I don't have any indicators that lead me to believe that threat is imminent. But I have lots of indicators that lead me to believe that threat looms. It's there. It can be deployed at any time. So, Q said? Well, that's good, K-Mac. I'm glad Q said something. Good to know. So, for Independence Day, avoid large crowds, have the ability to project force, do dirt medicine, and communicate on you at all times. Be prepped for fire and explosions. Beware of potential sleeper cells and the juicy target that large groups of Americans celebrating independence presents. Heat illness, heat stress, heat stroke. Have a way to deal with that. Cold water. Altered level of consciousness. If they're not producing urine, you've got problems. If they're cool and clammy to the touch or very, very hot, not sweating is a huge indicator. If they're no longer sweating, huge indicator. Cool that individual, elevate to a higher level of care. Be ready for motor vehicle accidents. And then basic prepper stuff. What if the grid goes away? Basic prepper stuff. What's that? Bear Independent YouTube channel. Prepper Classroom. Roran! You want to tell the people stuff? I gotta pee. Lauren's gonna talk to you guys and girls about some stuff. As always, I want to thank you for bearing with me, especially when I'm salty.
Don't worry, I'm salty too.
Don't be an idiot like Ted Cruz. By the way, that pop-up that popped up on refugemedical.com, that's an email capture, gets you on our email list, but instead of spamming you, what it does is it gets you email-only deals if you're subscribed to the email blast. Roran, I go pee.
All right, listen, y'all. I'm also salty. I'll tell you why. I don't know.
Tell us why.
Just because.
The vibe today.
It's my vibe today. What is up, everybody? How are you doing? Listen, world is crazy, okay? It's just crazy, and frankly, it's annoying. It's just like every day there's something new with the world. Like, just quit it, world. Stop being the way that you are. Everybody just chill. Take a chill pill. It's annoying, okay? Please. Sit down, breathe in the fresh air, thank the Father for all he's done. Just chill the heck out, okay? Are they going to do that? Probably not. Tomorrow, I'm sure there'll be some other news thing. Just, the news is stupid. Anyways, listen. We have a remote responder coming up July 11th. It's going to be awesome. You should be there. You get it for free right now if you get our Adventure bundle, which I don't have in front of me. Imagine a red, beautiful adventure bag right here. and a burn dressing set right here. Maybe Dudley can superimpose those things in my hands. Burn dressing set. And you get the remote responder for free. You should do that because it's amazing. Anyways, there's that. We also have an essential responder coming up in October, 2-day class, and a train the trainer, which is our 3-day course. Yes, 3 days. It has been bumped up to 3 days. If you've come to the refuge responder or the essential responder, you do qualify for the train the trainer, which is going to be amazing.
Gotta have a prereq for train the trainer.
There is a prereq.
You gotta know what you're training before I train you to train it.
It can't be your first time to hold a tourniquet in your hand when you come to train the trainer. What is up, Rhonda? I love you. I emailed you back yesterday about the belt thing.
Rhonda's so cool.
The coolest.
That lady is very
Super cool.
She hikes all over the
Super cool.
place.
Yeah,
I think
Salty Lauren.
Elon should put Rhonda on Mars when we colonate because
Rhonda's like, I hiked 20 miles on Mars today, 5 days in a row. We believe you, Rhonda.
Yeah,
We
of
know
course
you
she did. Took a quick
Um,
hike.
So
Rhonda's
someone
the
said she poses like Power Rangers. It's true. It's true.
Pink Ranger,
Ew. Green.
Green. I'm sorry.
But dark. I don't
Wasn't the
remember
green
any
a
of
dude?
them. No, I don't remember any of them. I did watch that growing up though. My sister was really upset. She was like, "Mom, this is really violent," but I watched it anyway. My favorite color is green. Okay, on to speaking of green, ADHD, brain.
I like that you're
Um,
the same height standing up as I am sitting down in my
And
chair.
I'm literally perfectly in the
perfect, you're
camera.
nailing
It's
it.
great. So, wilderness responder, we just sold another spot, so we're down to 12. Okay, so don't miss your shot to do this. The training has started. The guys have started training. We're about to do the bag layout so that you guys can learn how to pack your gear, evenly distribute the weight so you're not killing your back while you're rucking on a mountain and all of that. That's coming up. You can find that on the website. Wilderness Responder is going to be from August 29th to September 2nd. That is going to be an amazing class. This is a full-blown experience, okay? This is a life-changing experience. I watch the guys who come in for essential responder leave with like this totally new view. Like I had no idea that I had so many things lacking. I learned so much. The scenarios were so life-changing. This is going to be a 3-day on the mountain experience. You're going to be better for it. So, anyways, Team Super Extra Chunky Replay crew checking in.
Hell
What's
yeah.
up? Replay. Adam, what's up? Yes, you are right, Striker Crade. Crade?
Strike okay.
Strike out, kid!
Strike okay. You're so right.
You can finance training through the website. So if you need help, if you need to do a payment plan, you can do it through both PayPal credit and Affirm, or you can email us at admin@refugemedical.com and we will help you with that. Don't miss out on the training because you think you have to do it in one lump sum. We can work out the payment plan through the options on the website.
Don't alumni have a code as well?
And alumni do have a code. If you don't know what your code is, you should email training@refugemedical.com. We will hook you up. Okay? All right, guys, that's it from me. Salty Lauren, back to her desk.
Green Ranger. Thank you, Green Ranger. Green Ranger depart.
Go, go, Power Ranger.
Go, go, Power Ranger. Bum, 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 bum. I knew a guy who was a Power Ranger one time. And not even saying that like facetiously. Like that was it was on his resume. He was a Power Ranger. Mike, you're building the wilderness trainer kits right now, aren't you?
I am.
They're pretty cool, huh?
They're dope.
They're
cool,
dope.
Fresh.
Dope, super fresh. You on the phone?
On the phone.
Oh, am I making your life difficult right now? Oh, okay. Not right now. Just
You want me to get salty with you too?
come at me, fool.
Come
Let's
on.
go.
Let's do it.
Okay. She has summoned the Bear Zord. Are there homeless there?
The bears work.
Hey, Knott's Villa wants to know if there's any homeless people in our building. Are there? I don't think there's any homeless
I'm not
people
currently
here.
Homeless? Well, I don't have a home, but I do live in a camper, so I'm not like homeless.
You have a home. I mean, you have an address.
I have a place to go to.
Yeah.
Behind trees and cover.
Yeah, trees and cover. This is good.
In a bayou.
I don't think there's any homeless people in our building. I haven't cleared the building today. You're right. Let me go get the belt fed. All right. I do appreciate y'all very much. Listen, was I salty today? Yes. Did I deliver you informational value? Maybe some even entertainment value? I think the answer to that is yes. Check all of my scriptural references. Don't take my word for it. Check all of my scriptural references. ETA on the sling bag. Stryker, he's building yours right now.
Sure.
He is.
It'll definitely be done by the end of the day.
It'll be done by the end of the day.
If I had your phone number, I'd send you pictures.
I have his phone number. I'll send him pictures. You let me know when it's ready to go. So the sling bag, the wilderness training or the wilderness trainer kit, they're being built out right now. Mike took mine to use it. I built the first. Mike took mine to use it as a reference for everybody else's. But and then mine is built off of the kit and the curriculum for ECSI, Comprehensive Wilderness Medicine. So take my money, bro. You just get one as a trainer for this event. Like, I'm just giving it to you. Everybody else, and everybody else who's coming to class is also you just get this kit. It's included in the price of the class. After the class, we'll probably make it available as a product to everybody else. But it's a $500 kit. It's comprehensive. I will tell you this, something that most people aren't aware of is the definition of wilderness medicine is any pre-hospital definitive care that takes place more than 1 hour away from a higher level of care. That's super interesting because if you look at that on the civilian side as 1 hour or more away from definitive care, that means de facto no golden hour. And so on the DoD side, when we look at de facto no golden hour, that means that we're not doing TCCC, we're doing prolonged field care. We're doing an MAR from TCCC, care under fire, tactical field care, then TACEVAC, CASEVAC or MEDEVAC, evacuating the patient, but evacuating them to where? The answer is not the hospital, which means we then go into, so we do TCCC on the X, and then we do prolonged field care off of the X. On the civilian side, that's what wilderness medicine is, because the definition of wilderness medicine is anything that's 1 hour or more from definitive medical care. Oh. Whatever you got, Texas Sheep Lady, hour walking or hour driving, whatever modality of transportation we have, it's 1 hour. Ideally, we want the fastest way to get there. That's why med flights are amazing. Oklahoma's great for that. Send me a helicopter. Okay, which one you want? So, what's up, Tuna? Get off of me, fly. So anyway, all that to be said, the applicability is significant when it comes to wilderness medicine because most people think you're hiking in the backcountry, oh, I need wilderness medicine. No, the definition for wilderness medicine is anything that's 1 hour or more from a higher level of care. And that's a lot of people. That's tens of millions of people in the United States of America. So it's applicable. It applies. With that, y'all have a blessed day. Thanks for being here. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for bearing with me while I fought my way into YouTube this morning, which made me salty. But like I said, I do think there's a lot of meat in this broadcast. So if you need to go back and listen again, feel free to do so. Share the show with somebody you love. And I'll see you when I see you. Shalom, everyone.